In this video, I will be going over what I think is the best way to learn programming and how you can become the best engineer possible so that you can make sure you get the job that you want and have this amazing career that you have been promised. And on top of that, I will be sharing my thoughts and insights on the current job market and what you can do to navigate it. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into it. The first thing that I would like to talk about today is the current state of the job market. I'm pretty sure you have seen at least one person or one article saying that there are no more entry-level positions, there are no more positions for juniors, and layoffs are happening left, right, and center. And rightfully so, you might be worried about this because what's happening, you have been fed this idea that tech is booming, tech is always going to be wanted, and there will always be a need for developers, and so you chose this career path as you saw it being more secure than others. But the times that we're living right now are showing us that that's not really the case. But hold on a second, that there are some things that you can do. From my experience with the job market, I can unfortunately confirm that the job market right now is pretty tough compared to how it was 3 years ago. Right now, you are way less likely to be able to jump industries. So let's say if you don't like automotive and want to build web applications, which was my case, the transition is not that smooth anymore because everyone is looking for developers with experience. And even then, you run the risk of not finding the right job for you or not finding an employer at all. It seems like nobody is really hiring junior or entry-level developers anymore compared to like 3 to 4 years ago, when you pretty much only needed to have a pulse to be able to get into the IT market. Now you need 2 years of experience for junior dev positions, but nobody is willing to give you that experience. What's happening? Well, the market was in what I would like to call an economic boom in the 2020 to 2022 period, pretty much COVID and post-COVID, where the whole world had to move to online. There were money being thrown at IT and software development left, right, center. Like everyone was employing programmers, everyone was looking for programmers. As I said, you only needed to have a pulse to be able to land a job. But the bubble kind of burst. So right now, job levels have returned to pre-pandemic levels. So what does that mean? Well, pretty much that means that the IT field has gotten way more competitive because everyone wanted to jump on this IT field boat, and this, coupled with the fact that there were so many layoffs, have gotten us to a point where the IT market is flooded with a lot of really good talent, and the competition is really high for roles. And that's why for pretty much any job position, you would find like 200, 300, and or maybe even more applicants. Okay, I didn't come here today to only announce bad news. I came here to maybe propose a solution and give you some actionable steps. So there is hope, because from my talks with some recruiters and some people in the field, it seems like there is a high discrepancy based on the industry that you're in, on the level of programmers, because at the end of the day, everything revolves around skill. And I think that if you're skilled enough, you will find something to work on, regardless of the state of the market, the state of the economy, the state of everything. And I guess the reality is there aren't so many good programmers as we wish to think there are. Not thinking back at my time in Timisoara at the previous company, when I went to the full stack project, there was a guy previously working on it. I think he had like 7 years in the company or something like this. And let me tell you that the project was based on only 2 files, and those 2 files had 20,000 lines of code each. How can you have 7 years of experience and be that bad? I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Like, bro, it's just insane. It's insane. And after talking to recruiters and people in the field, I did get this confirmed from them. They pretty much said the same thing, that there aren't so many skilled developers out there, and so there's not a shortage on people anymore, there's a shortage on talent. Coders in the automotive industry compared to other industries are performing worse. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it's because they don't really have to maybe innovate that much. They need to use older technologies. Back in my previous company, we were using like C#11, and I think C# 20 was out or something like this. So we weren't using the latest and greatest, and I think this holds true for most developers in the automotive industry, because programming is a field that is evolving constantly. You constantly need to practice, and to be able to avoid being a slave to your own work, you need to be in a company or a workplace that can fuel your growth. So you need to be constantly learning, you need to be constantly growing and evolving. I think that if in your current company you're not growing enough, I think it might be time to start looking for something else. Or if you feel that you're lacking the skills to move to another company, it's time to build some side projects to get your skills up and then try to move to another company. So you have to avoid this, because the situation where you have to work on side projects outside of your work is not ideal. But unfortunately, this is something that I think most developers should do, because their skill level is just quite not high enough. From my experience, I have been able to learn most from side projects, because unfortunately, when I was in companies, I wasn't given so many responsibilities as I would have wanted to. I did have some contact with more technologies, but I would have liked to have like more responsibilities, bigger pictures and so on. This is something that you can do in your own time on some personal projects, and from my learning experience, I was able to learn most from personal projects anyway. In regards to building your skills using personal projects, I have some recommendations, because most of the times people don't build anything because they are like, well, what should I build? And my answer to that would be, build something that you're passionate about. Try to build your own stuff, even though those products exist, and you're not going to go into the market being a business or whatever. You are going to learn the ropes of it just by building them. And when picking what project you should work on, I have a couple of recommendations. The first would be Coding Challenges by John Cricket. I think he also has a newsletter where he sends emails out weekly with that week's coding challenge or something like this. The other one would be What to Code. This is a website that I haven't really went on, but I saw it recommended, and I saw that it has some projects as well that you can maybe take a look at and try to build something nice and something that you would be proud of. If you're a complete beginner or you would like to pick up some new skills, I highly encourage you to pick up books instead of building another to-do app or blindly following a YouTube tutorial. Dive into books, because they are such a good resource. Even though they might not be up to date in terms of what technologies are using or the latest version of C# or the latest hooks from React or whatever, I found that books are focusing on fundamentals, and fundamentals are evergreen tech or stuff or methods that you can use regardless of the programming language that you are using. So from my experience, focusing on the fundamentals will get you a longer way than learning how to simply use frameworks. When I started to learn how to do web development, I didn't really have that much background into it. Like, I didn't really have that much background into modern C# development, and I read some books on the topic. I got familiar with topics such as test-driven development, some on unit testing, and pretty much web technologies. Those type of things I didn't really have to touch in my previous companies, because working in a big company, we pretty much had teams that would handle this for us. So you would have the testing team, you would have DevOps team, we were the dev team, and then so on. So I didn't really have to touch testing or things like this. But apparently in other industries, you as a developer have to test your own code and things like this. So reading books on the topic really helped level up my knowledge in those areas, and this is something that I can highly encourage you to do as well. Another resource that you can tap into is contributing to open source projects. If you've never done this before, I highly encourage you to, because this would give you a sense of what working in a bigger team would be like. This will be a bit different from building your own personal things, because now you have to get your pull requests accepted. Now you will get code review by other members of that repo, other people that are contributing to the same repo. So this will give you like a feel on what it is like to work in a bigger team on a bigger project. And if you don't really have a job, or if you're just starting out, this should give you a bit of a feel on how it is to work in a team and develop a product. With all that being said, it looks like we have reached the end of the video. Hopefully in this video I was able to give you some tips and tricks on how you can navigate this tough job market and become a better software engineer. If you got any value from this video, I would massively appreciate if you could like, share, subscribe, and please leave a comment if you would like to see more or if you have any suggestions. With all that being said, thank you and see you in the next one.